Hello and welcome back to my channel, ElleHistory. I'm Dr Estelle Paranque and I'm an author, historian and assistant professor in history, and this is a video on Catherine of Aragon, the first wife of Henry VIII. This is a series that I'm doing on the sixth wife of Henry VIII, and I don't want to pit them against one another in these videos. I want to show you why I love all these queens for various reasons. They're all very different, and at the same time they're all very similar in the sense that they were all extremely strong. And I hope that this video will make you want to know more about her, and I will put down below some books recommendations for you to know more about her fantastic life. But in this video I want to discuss with you 4 incredible facts about her and why I respect her and admire so much. So let's dive in. Catherine was born on the 16th December 1485 and she died on the 7th January 1536. She was the daughter of Isabel I of Castile and Ferdinand II of Aragon, the most powerful country in Europe at the time. She was betrothed to Arthur, Prince of Wales from England, when she was only 3 years old, and in 1501, on the 14th November 1501, she married Arthur at the All St. Paul's Cathedral. But the story of Catherine is that fate struck and that her husband died 6 months later. It left her in a position that no one would want to be in. She had been promised to England, there was this dynastic alliance that had been made, and now she was a widow at only 15 years old. She was then promised to Henry, Arthur's younger brother, but for this they needed a papal dispensation that was granted by the Pope at the time. Catherine's life is marked by her marriage to Henry VIII, who is known for having 6 wives, like you have divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. She's the first wife, and in many ways and for many people, she is the most significant. In this video, I really want to share with you why I think she's absolutely incredible. The first incredible fact that we don't really mention when we talk about Catherine of Aragon is that obviously when Arthur died in 1501, she was left in a very precarious position. But in 1507, it was decided between Henry VII of England and Ferdinand II of Aragon that Catherine would act and be the Spanish ambassador at the English court. This was quite amazing because it means that Catherine of Aragon was the first female ambassador in European politics. Obviously, she was the right choice. She was there, she was already present at the English court, she knew the English royal family really well, and she was also really well educated and understood really well the complications and the differences between England and Spain. She was the perfect ambassador. But what's so funny is obviously that now she had been promised to Henry. It was a way to delay their union while still keeping Catherine as a very important part of the English court. Life was about to change when she married Henry VIII on the 11th June 1509. They were both crowned at Westminster Abbey on the 24th June 1509. And we know the importance of coronations. We're going to have one very soon, and I hope you will watch my video, Why the Hype, where I'll give you a historian's guide to the coronation. But here it also shows you that women were not just wives, mothers, widows. Catherine of Aragon had also been an ambassador, working for her family, showing her political skills, showing how important and intelligent she was. And though Henry VII might have underestimated her, he quickly realized that Catherine was politically astute. She was a true force to be reckoned with. The second most incredible fact about Catherine of Aragon and how powerful and strong she was is undeniably when in 1513 Henry VIII appointed her as governor of the realm and captain general while he went to France on a military campaign. Here were the proof that Henry VIII really trusted his wife, and they had a very strong partnership. They had a very strong marriage. This is, I think, also why we are so surprised with what happened in the late 1520s and 1530s with Anne Boleyn, and that's also why, because we felt that this couple was extremely united, extremely strong, and then we realized that actually, Henry was not that, kind of committed to his wife. But here in 1513, he trusted her, and he trusted her not only, on a personal level, but on a political level. Mostly maybe because she had been an ambassador before, because she had already shown how intellectually intelligent she was, and that she was absolutely politically astute. Obviously, he also named a council that was there to advise the Queen. But here, Catherine really showed how truly powerful she was. She also showed that she was truly, her mother's daughter. Isabel of Castile is known for being this powerful queen, and Catherine of Aragon is really like her mother. When she was entrusted with this very big challenge to basically be regent of England, she really rose to the task and showed that she was not afraid of making decisions. And it is good because it's at the time when Henry was in war against France, again, France and England always fighting against one another, the Scots had decided to invade the northern border. So Catherine made all the decisions to go and to lead an army. Obviously, when I say go and lead an army, there were other generals, and she was not, the one, like we have this myth of her being the leader and going to fight. She obviously didn't fight, but yet she was, and there are reports of her wearing an armor. Apparently she had been pregnant. She was pregnant at the time as well. So we have this kind of reports, and we have to be sometimes a bit careful how we see historical reports. Yet it doesn't remove anything from the fact that even though she might not have been on the battlefield fighting the Scots, obviously, she was still a warrior queen, and she was still a leader, a war leader, and she really truly was a strong and powerful regent of England. It is known that Catherine actually made a splendid oration to the English captains, told them to be ready to defend their territory, that the Lord smiled upon those who stood in defense of their own, and that they should remember that English courage excelled that all of other nations. Fired by these words, nobles marched against the Scots, who were then wasting the borders, and defeated them. And here we have again Catherine giving a speech, in front of an army, trying to get the men to fight for their country, but also, and in many ways, fight for her. We have an example of Catherine of Aragon being an amazing leader. And I think that actually, even without Henry VIII, she would have been a splendid queen. But Catherine was not just this strong warrior queen. She was also, I think, and it's my third incredible fact about her, she was actually an advocate for women's education. Yes, you hear me out. This very obedient wife, because she was kind of in many ways the perfect wife. She was she knew her role. She was extremely religious, and she was extremely obedient, and I think that's probably also why her marriage to Henry VIII, who probably had a big ego, lasted for so long. But here in 1524, Catherine commissioned a book about the education of Christian women by Juan Luis Vives, and it was actually dedicated to her. She wanted this book for her daughter. Catherine really believed in the education of women, and in many ways, by seeing that example, we see that Catherine believed that women could excel, in education, and that it would help them being politically and diplomatic astute, which she was. My fourth favorite fact about Catherine of Aragon is without a doubt her love and devotion for her children. Well, for Mary, but even all her children. She had 6 pregnancies, and she had 2 young sons that died in infancy. But Regardless, she was extremely devoted to Mary. She wasn't actually a very good mother. So during, the time where Anne Boleyn was basically replacing her, it was a very difficult time for her and Princess Mary, as you can imagine. They were basically humiliated on a constant basis, but also they were forced to recognize the new marriage to Anne Boleyn, which they both refused. They were forced to recognize, Anne Boleyn as a new Queen of England, which they both refused to do so. But at the same time, Catherine was very smart when she wrote to her daughter. Even in the most difficult time of her life, Catherine was still advising her daughter to be obedient to her father. Answer with few words, obeying the king, your father, in everything, save only that you will not offend God and lose your own soul. One thing I especially desire you, for the love that you do owe unto God and unto me, to keep your heart with a chaste mind, and your body from an ill and wanton company, not thinking or desiring any husband for crisp passion, neither determine yourself to any manner of living till this troublesome time be past. For I dare make sure that you shall see a very good end, and better than you can desire. His love for Mary was real and true, and that is why it makes her so amazing. In all, we've learnt that Catherine of Aragon was actually indomitable. She fought for what she thought was right, and she never gave up, even when she was humiliated by Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. But what we've learned as well is that all her amazing achievements and accomplishments during her lifetime and her reign, she was a true force to be reckoned with. I really hope that you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please give a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe on my channel. You will have more Once Upon a Woman video, and next week it will be on Anne Boleyn. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!